KZ Guy 2 here, No Nonsense Know-How. Today working on a 2015 Chevy Equinox with a 2.4 liter. And I've got some quick tips on how to deal with this P0011 intake camshaft position over advanced code. You might also have a P0010, which would indicate the exhaust camshaft stuck over advanced. Now the number one cause for this code is going to be dirty engine oil. You get carbon deposits up on these solenoids I'm about to show you. And the second most common failure is the solenoids themselves tend to fail a lot. So let's dig in here. I've already got this mostly ripped apart, but loosen this flathead here, pop that boot off there, and also the clamp down here on your intake body. Then take this hose right here and wiggle that off. And you can pop this whole piece off right here. I've already got mine off, but it's gonna snap off these towers on the back too. You see those right there. Now remove your oil cap, and again, I've already got mine popped off, but you work your way around and you'll be able to get this cover off of here, because you got this tower, and that tower right there, and then the oil cap holds it on too. And throw your oil cap back on just as precaution. Now I know this customer is kept up on their oil changes, and you can see popping this dipstick out. It's pretty clean oil, not all sludged up. So we're gonna go right to these VVT solenoids right here. So since this is the intake side here, this is gonna be your intake variable valve timing solenoids. Take a screwdriver and slide up this little plastic piece there. And then you can squeeze your finger in on this tab here and wiggle that connector off. Sometimes they might be a little tight on there. And even though I only have a code for the intake side, the P0011, I'm gonna pop the exhaust off too. So again, pop that clip up, get this thing off. And you don't really have to worry about mixing these up because the connectors actually have different keys to them, and the intake side is a little bit longer. Tuck those aside. Before you go any further, take an air gun and blow out all that debris down in here. Then take a little rust penetrant or a WD-40 and spray it down in here. Now with an extension and a 10mm socket, using my Milwaukee M12 1/4-inch ratchet here, zip these two screws off. And get those screws out of there with a magnet. Now you can use some pliers or a screwdriver to wiggle these loose, but kind of twist them sideways and give it a little bit of upward force, pulling them up, and they both should pop right out of there. If they're tight, spray some more WD down in here and get these rocking back and forth. And then you can just slide that right out of there and take a peek at it. Now see, like I told you, this engine's not all sludged up, so what we have here is more than likely just a failed solenoid. Now what that code indicates is that this valve solenoid actually got stuck in the advanced position, and this can cause the vehicle to stall or run poorly. These things get extremely hot sitting up here in the valve cover, and they are very prone to failure. So you got a couple options at this point. You can spray this thing out with some brake clean or parts cleaner, wash out these screens. If yours is carboned up, you know, make sure to clean it real good, and you could try putting it back in. But for how cheap these things are new, it's really just a good idea to replace it if you get that code, honestly. Otherwise, you're probably going to end up with the same code, and you don't want to go stall on the Ben Franklin Bridge or something like that, where you could get yourself in a sticky position. I'm going to go ahead and get a new solenoid. I'll try and plug a link down below for this for these new parts for this. The part is going to be different for the intake and exhaust, obviously, because they have different connectors. When you're putting the solenoid back in, take some light oil, rub it on this black O-ring here. And then make sure you don't have the screw sticking in the hole or anything. You don't want to drop it down in there. Drop it straight down the bore until it bottoms out, and then give it a little twisting back and forth until you feel it push down and that O-ring seats in there. Then put your 10mm bolt back in there and snug that down. And just to recap here, whether your new solenoid has gray and black, or they're both black or both gray, it doesn't matter. The intake side is going to have the pattern that looks like that, if my camera will focus on there, and the exhaust side is going to have that more, let's call it a half moon shape to it. So those are the difference. Intake side, exhaust side. Alright, and whether you've chosen to clean up or replace those solenoids, when you're all done getting it back together, come back in here, clear out that code. Again, if your oil changes due, make sure to do that as part of this process. And that pretty much wraps it up here. Again, if you keep up on your oil changes, you shouldn't really have a problem with the sludge buildup in there, but in either case, all makes and models, Toyotas, Fords, Chevys, these oil solenoids, they have a rough life. They're up on top of the engine. It gets extremely hot, so they do fail. It happens. It's very common. Luckily, they're not too expensive or hard to replace. Now, I do apologize if I went too fast in this video for you or speak too fast. I just wanted to give you a quick rundown, overview of what this job is, what it entails, and how easy it is to access these parts and replace them. Again, there are other issues that could cause these codes, but this is definitely by far the most common, along with the sludge buildup. Give it a video thumbs up if it helped out. Definitely appreciate that. Consider checking out the channel. Maybe even toss me a subscribe. I'll put those links down below for anything I used in the video. And until next time, this is KZ Guy 2 here. No Nonsense, No How. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next time.